Okay, we'll now go with the Pledge of Allegiance. Jason, would you lead that, please?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Invoices. Mark, what do you got for us?
There is one for Gilbane. This is their final requisition for, and this is also taken into account the owner change order 21. The amount of the invoice is for $392,029.96.
Okay. Got that in front of me. What does that do with my overall budget?
That is under the budget because owner change order 21, which we'll be voting on shortly, is giving back the project contingency and the unused owner allowance.
CM
contingency, yes.
Okay. All righty.
This closes out all the subs for on Gilbane's part.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion. This is Jason.
Second,
Okay.
Bill.
Okay. All right, now let's questions from the committee. Anything at all? Talk to me in terms of what do we have left over? Okay.
There is, yes.
Yeah.
There is, we are working through HVAC and heating issues, and part of this requisition is a Ferguson requisition, which will close them out. We have an issue with acceptance of the field by the Parks Commission and, Board of Ed. As part of that, we have a couple issues that, as far as the card readers at the kindergarten rooms, that the POs will be issued by the town this week. And I mean, those are basically the outstanding issues right now. Oh, sorry, there is the lighting system. The defective. There are defective sensors that we are working through a warranty issue with the supplier and the manufacturer.
How much money do we have free to handle those particular events?
We have, last I checked, we have $90,000.
So, Mark, this is Bill speaking. So, who's responsible to put a value to those punch list items? And then, is there a process put in place to have retainage on those items until they're resolved?
We could, yes. I mean, the lighting issue is a warranty issue, so it's not truly a workmanship or a sub issue. The HVAC complaints, I know we were discussing with Gilbane about the amount of money that we want to hold on Ferguson till we get those rectified. The card issues is separate POs, so that is neither any of Gilbane's subs or a warranty item. That's just additional change order work to the project. And then
Understood.
the acceptance of the field. That's a little bit trickier because that's the field has been accepted by as being returned to where it was. It is the Parks Commission and Parks and Rec that is saying they find issues with how the field is.
Okay, so was it done to spec?
Well, that's the thing. It wasn't. There is no spec on it because it was construction laydown area. There was no improvements made to it. So they had to return it to what the field was prior to the start of construction.
Understood. And the Parks and Rec is saying that it was not restored to original condition.
What they're saying is the condition is restored to was not what they would like. And we asked them to point out specifically in writing, and they have yet to do so. And that was like 6 weeks ago.
Hi, Tom.
Yeah, because that's not the same thing. They can't ask for improvements under that, right?
Yeah.
Hi, Tom. It's Sal Morbido.
Hi, Sal.
Hey, good evening. I joined in a couple minutes late. I put out an email a couple of weeks ago to Angeles Papageorge, Anthony Calabrese, and Doug Novak down in DPW, and said that, it's been going for a while. I mean, we met back on November. There was an email on November 12th complaining about the field, and then suggesting a meeting, and that meeting happened November 16th. And they were supposed to get a quotation of what they believed they needed to restore the field. And I bugged them a couple of weeks ago. I said, let's try to get that for today. And I received a note from Doug saying that he is supposed to have a quotation tomorrow. So I told them that I would report that to you and the committee, and we'll pass that information along as soon as it comes in. But their basic statement is it wasn't. They're not happy with the restoration. It's not what they believed they had before the job, and since it's not exactly documented, it's a hard statement to swallow, so to speak. So,
exactly.
But wasn't the field? Did I not hear that the field was actually approved at one point, or no?
Well, it was approved by the
Mark.
It was approved by the design team. Yes.
So was there any survey or photos taken before the construction began?
Rob, do you have anything?
Yeah, so, Bill, we have a pre-construction photo, and we surveyed, the sprinkler heads. There wasn't an as-built of the sprinkler system, so we ended up going through locating the sprinkler heads, and we have some photos of the field beforehand.
So does anybody know what their major issues are? I mean, sprinkler heads, obviously you have to repair sprinkler heads. If under that kind of construction, they're going to damage a few heads. But what are their major issues?
I think the measures they don't like.
They're bringing up things about as far as compactness, the crown on the field, the drainage, how well it drains, the completeness of the the grass is spotty, and that was because they got weeds, and they have to overseed and drive that out. You can't use herbicides on school property because of the integrated pest management requirements. I'm in agreement that there needs to be some work done with the grass. I don't know about the drainage. I don't know what the quote-unquote the crown was and all that. So the easiest thing is to get them to say what it is. It becomes a negotiation between the building committee and DPW/rec about that.
Sure. The bigger concern would be the drainage. I mean, the grass, obviously, that can be overseeded, and that's not that big of a deal. But if there's ponding or puddling or something, then there's issues because that field did not pond or puddle previous.
Do we know if Parks and Rec used this field since it's been open? Have they been doing town
I don't think
stuff,
so.
activities?
No, I
they're
don't
not
think they've been doing
town
anything.
activities. They are not doing town activities on it.
And what is Gilbane's stance on reseeding or overseeding to get the grass back up to where it was? I mean, are they willing to go for that, Rob?
So what we were discussing at this point is basically having the Parks and Rec contractor put a quote to building committee to come in the spring and clean it up. Just, see what their list was and see what was required at that point. I mean, we really weren't planning to have any of our contractors come back in the spring at this point. We were just...
No, that's smart. I mean, have them do it. That would be smart, right, if you can accept their proposal.
But I need to understand what they think they had before and what they're going to get. Okay? Because, like to Bill's point, if we have puddling, that's one thing. If they don't like the look of it, that's very different.
So we were out and walked that field in the fall. There's no low spots that result in like standing water or puddling per se that you would expect with the field being pitched more. Sal, you can jump in and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they were saying that they were looking for a higher pitch to the field to promote more drainage. So I just, Bill, so you don't, it's not that the field's uneven and there's like a big low goalie in the middle of it. It's pitched off from the middle to the sides towards the sidelines to promote drainage. It's not like there's like a valley in the field.
Yeah, crowns from the center out.
Yeah, exactly. So the crown is there. It sounded like more they were looking for a higher crown or or a different crown.
Gotcha.
That's probably a fair statement. That they had a much better crown. Let's put it that way.
In their perspective.
And part of the patchiness of the grass also makes it, collection point for the drainage. It's thick turf, thick grass surrounding a dead spot. Because the weeds died out and the grass hasn't fully established. So that could be part of the complaint. But like I said, since November 18th, I've been expecting, their response back.
So to the point of the crown, though, I mean, it's simply somebody could go out there, whether it be Gilbane or an independent person with a laser, and determine if the crown was acceptable to standard specs, right?
I would think so.
I mean, to end that argument, I mean, if there was an argument from the Parks Department could do it too. I mean, it's just a matter of getting some elevation points.
Yeah, well,
I'm not
a company that takes care of all their fields. When we get the letter from these guys, we ought to sit down with that company and review what we have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And maybe, Bill, you can help us lead that conversation.
Yeah, I'd be happy to join.
Okay. Any other comments on this?
I guess, sir, we would have to, if we can't really approve the final payment of everything without determining what a retainage would be to resolve some of these items, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So I maybe have to go back on my motion to approve.
Can I jump in here for a minute, Tom? If you don't mind, Samar here with Gilbane. So basically, just so everybody's aware, obviously this is our final requisition, and yes, there is a value in there for Ferguson, which is their final payment. We are going to sit on that final payment. We're working through the HVAC issues. It's been very active. Sal has been involved on a daily basis with us. and we have the tech from Train who's there every day. It looks like conditions are improving, and we do have, I think February 11th, I believe, is the final commissioning sign-off on the system. He just has to come back and validate, verify a few more things. He's already been involved in the job. So as it relates to the field, we do have acceptance by the design team. I know the Parks and Rec is not really happy with it, and we could resolve that, but we don't know what the outcome will be. But really, it's this requisition. I mean, again, we're around. We're not going anywhere. Obviously, we want to make sure the project gets done properly. There's no doubt at all there, but we need this requisition to kind of release the other subcontractors. And obviously, we are going to sit on Ferguson's, which is really the biggest piece. The HVAC system is the one that we keeping track of it. It's been fine today. I think yesterday had a couple of bugs in it, but we're working through those very actively. And we have Trained. Sal is involved, Mark is involved, and we're on it every day to make sure that there's no additional issues. But I think we're working through those issues. So,
can we think about amending, the number so that all the other subs are paid off, and Ferguson, we maintain a retainage on this?
What I can do, we have to rework the requisition, but I plan on sitting on Ferguson's final payment that's in this rec. I'm not going to release it. I have that ability to do that until we're 100%. Obviously, we want to make sure the project is 100% done before we release them. So we are going to sit on their payments. You have no doubt. I plan on doing so, and I've already told them that. So
to the chairman's point, though, I don't believe that
sure.
the town doesn't have any, or the building committee has zero leverage if we release final payment to Gilbane, even if you say you're sitting on it.
Great.
I don't know if that's a good idea. I think we need to assess values to these punch list issues before we can release payment. I don't think that we're in a good position at that point.
If you want to hold,
we have heating issues that have been ongoing. These, from my understanding, these aren't heating issues that popped up in the past week or two. These are ongoing heating issues, if I'm not mistaken, and they haven't been taken care of. Plus, we're dealing with lights that we're waiting on warranty for. So there are actually some outstanding issues that need to be addressed that affect what's happening inside the school for the students more than anything. And until we get a clearer answer on that, I agree with Bill and the chairman.
Okay, if you want to withhold a percentage of the rec, that's fine. We'll have to rework the requisition or a partial release. You can assign a value to what you feel appropriate for the HVAC issues. Again, the lighting sensor is more of a warranty item. It's not a workmanship or a shea item, if you will. But the HVAC definitely has a direct relation to Ferguson and their subcontractors in the event there's something that's not functioning properly and it's not addressed. But if you want to withhold the value, that's fine. And you're going to find you want to hold all $75,000 of that, pending the resolution of all the HVAC issues. You can do that.
I think we would look to Mark to give us some advice to the value of the punch list items. And then, in my industry, typically we take the value of the punch list and double it, and we would hold that. I don't know if that's fair, but I think the building committee or the town of Fairfield needs to have some leverage here to make sure that these issues are resolved.
Yep. Ultimately, you do have our bond, payment performance bond. But obviously that's extreme. We do have a posted bond for the entire value of our contract with the town, payment performance bond, and we have that on our subcontractor too. But that's an extreme. That's if the contractor is basically leaves the job and abandons. Obviously, we're doing another project for you folks, and we want to.
I truly believe Gilbane's going to do the right thing and get this resolved. I'm not saying that, but I can't. You got to be responsible.
Yeah.
Sure.
Once we approve that motion, we lost all leverage. Okay.
Correct.
And I'm not about to do that at this juncture.
Correct.
In my judgment, I think we have to sit down and have Mark sit with Gilbane, come out with the right number that we want to approve, and we'll hold a different special meeting to pass this.
Okay.
Well,
Okay?
so can I jump in, Mark Schweitzer or Colliers? I mean, Amar and Gilbane was going to sit on Ferguson's last pay application for the HVAC issues. Their piece of this is $206,492.02. If Gilbane holds it or the town holds it, they still have, we still have money on them to get them to do what we need to do. We can then we can release all the other subs, get those closed out, and at the end, I can sit down with Amar, KBA, and figure out what a value for Ferguson is, and we can assess that and release the rest.
Well, Mark, it needs to be a value on all the outstanding items on the list, not just Ferguson.
Well, the other outstanding items on the list, the acceptance of the field, are we saying that is a issue with the subcontractor, or are we saying that is an issue with
if I may jump in here, the design team did not officially accept the soccer field as it is currently. They did not have all of the same concerns that the Parks and Rec department had. Like there was no issue with the crown and with ponding and things like that. But as of our last visit in November, there was still some new grass growth that we had hoped to see that was not filling in. And the general consensus is that we thought it would be filled in with the spring growing season. But the ultimate, last line of our report is that the field was not accepted in the condition that it's in.
So to that point, that could, if the field in general is not crowned right, which I'm not saying it isn't, or the grass, there could be some serious dollars involved there. So, that's something that needs to be, a value needs to be assigned to that, so we understand that we're not left holding the bag here at the end.
Absolutely.
Until we further understand what the complaints are.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't think.
Amar, do you know what Guerrera has on this wreck?
I don't. Robbie, do you know how much Guerrera has, if anything?
Yeah, hold on one sec. 5,000 and it looked like just under 45,000, like 43 grand between retainage and just closing out their bill.
So you could easily spend that on if you had to regrade the thing and reseed the whole thing?
Yeah, I don't.
Depending on drainage, I don't know. Right.
The only issue we're running into is, like we said, there is no spec or drawing to tie it to. So there is a crown there. What we were looking at is, like we always discussed, was basically with the slight overseeding required to fill in the spring. Basically was the same thing, having the Parks and Rec maintenance guy come out, do his startup for the field in the spring with the topsoil and the overseed, which was a couple grand. As part of this rec, we're giving about $60,000. We're giving our contingency back, so we're returning $60,000, basically an unused contingency as part of that owner change order 21.
Mm-hmm.
So if there is a couple grand from the site, from the Parks and Rec department that they want to overseed and fill in topsoil, we're giving money back through that contingency return.
Right. But say that the field is not pitched to standard athletic field specifications, and the thing has to be regraded. That's a much bigger conversation.
Yeah, and one that
the challenge, Bill. The challenge is that, as Rob indicated, there was really no as-built grading condition to tie or hold the contractor to, we can fix it to whatever standards they want, but ultimately the cost for that will either have to be a change order or we have to spend CM contingency, which is we just gave you back in this change order that you're about to approve. We're giving back $113,000 out of our contract as a reconciliation of contract. So we're going to have to keep that back until those issues get resolved, because ultimately I can't go to Guerrero and say, hey, you destroyed the field, now you're going to have to crown it to proper specifications. You're going to say, I don't even know if this thing was graded to proper specification originally. So it's going to be
that's what we have to find out, right?
Right.
And I agree. But it's a larger conversation that we can't approve the payment until we figure that out, is what I'm getting at.
Right.
But ultimately,
and this is Sal jumping in, and the other complaint is over compaction. So it's not just the crown. I know everybody. It's simple to focus on the crown, but I think there's going to be more to that statement tomorrow if we're getting it as promised than just the crown.
So they didn't verify it, the top layer, before they, right.
So ultimately, then in that case, if there is, go ahead.
The bottom line is we don't know what's wrong with the field, if there's a problem with the field, until we hear back from Parks and Rec.
That's fine. Fair statement. Obviously, it's under about 6 inches or 10 inches of snow. We won't be able to do that until the spring, and that's fine. We can leave their contract open. We're going to have to take this change order back, Mark, because if it becomes part of the conversation, that they're going to say, all right, well, no, the project has to, or Gilbane, or if it comes out of owner contingency, like I said, we need to understand exactly what they're looking for, to what level of satisfaction, or how much repairs. It could be $5,000, it could be $50,000. We don't know. We won't even know until the spring sometime, when somebody looks at it, whether it's going to be direction from Park or Rec, or is it going to be from the design team. I don't know. Okay, so that can be postponed. That decision can be postponed till then. We could take the change order back, hold on to it, the one we've given you back, or everything out of our contract. We're basically zeroing out our contract with you. So I think it's more appropriate to keep it there until we sort out exactly what's required, so we can decide who's going to pay for it and how it's going to get funded. But depending on what they're asking, I don't know. We don't know.
Agreed. And I think that's what we're all trying to say, is we can't approve the final payment, closing everything out, until these things are resolved.
And that's okay. I guess we can restructure the payment. This requisition, we're going to have to redo it, which is fine. I mean, I want to make sure it's clean. That way, we understand there's a field issue. There might be some money there. We understand there's some HVAC issues. Obviously, they have $200,000+, and these issues might all be behind us in a week or so. We could assign a value to Ferguson and repackage this wreck in a different dollar amount and send it back.
Right, and then the rest of your subs can get paid. Right, exactly.
Exactly. So,
but we have to sit down with Bill and Mark and Amar,
sure,
and go through this particular piece of work, and come back to the committee with what is the right number to pay. Bill,
that's fine.
Your thoughts?
Sorry?
Your thoughts?
I agree. I think maybe Mark could help. Maybe Mark could help us assign a value to every open item on the list, on the completion list, and then we could make a reasonable decision from there.
All right.
Okay. So I'll connect with Mark tomorrow. Yep.
Well, I will.
And we'll come back to you, Mark. You and I will talk tomorrow, and then we'll come back to you. We should be able to do it within days, if you will, and hopefully maybe have a meeting a week from today. If possible.
Okay. Under those thoughts, I'd like to hold a vote on this to approve or disapprove the amount of $392,029.96. All those in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
One. Okay, all those against, please, say aye. Say no.
No.
No. Okay. So I've got how many, Jason? 3 no's, 1 yes?
We have 1 yes, 3 no's.
Okay. 3 no's have it. Then the group on the bill will come back to this committee with what they believe is the right amount with retainage.
Yep.
Okay?
No problem.
All right. What's next, Mark?
The next is the owner change order 21, which is the give back of the owner allowances and the CM contingency, which from our conversation, I don't want to put words in Amar's mouth, but I'm assuming we want to pull that back also?
Yes, you're going to need to pull that back. Yeah. You don't want to approve that one because that leaves me with no leverage, if you will.
Absolutely.
I would agree, Amar.
All right. So it's a push, guys. It's a push.
It's a push.
Okay. Last point, project update.
This is we kind of discussed this with the pay application. Also, I sent this out to the committee last night as far as what the open items are and what we are tracking. Just to run down, and this is a list that Gilbane and Fairfield Public Schools meet on. We have been meeting weekly now for the last couple of weeks. We have a meeting tomorrow on it. The items are the acceptance of the field, the O&M binders, the JCI controllers, which this is a PO that the town of Fairfield will be issuing to Universal Boiler Systems or Services to perform some work. This is a gap between our project and a project that Fairfield Public Schools had. The RTU for the APR, the changing of the filters, we have come to a conclusion with Ferguson, Gilbane, and Fairfield Public Schools regarding what needs to take place there. It just now needs the parts need to come, so that can be taken care of. The card access for the kindergarten rooms, the POs are to be issued this week, so those vendors will be out and get that work done. The lighting system we covered. It is a warranty item, and we are looking at. We have requested from the building committee to the supplier that they replace all sensors. We've had basically 12% fail rate on these sensors, and we have requested that they replace them all.
And we have not gotten a response.
We have not gotten a response. They've asked for additional the locations of the second batch. If the second batch replaced the first batch, or are these in it from the original sensors that got that the second batch replaced? Also as mentioned, the commission agent will be out next Thursday, the 11th, to close their pending items on their commissioning portal. And then we have the HVAC complaints that we have been working through, and the VRF leak that train was to be out last week and this week to complete and fix. Those are the open items that we've been tracking.
Okay. What I was suggesting to you, Mark, is that when you meet next time, Bill gets included as to represent the committee. Okay?
Yep.
All right.
That would be great. Thank you.
Okay. So that by the time we come back to the committee, the committee would have already a vote on the open items.
Yes.
All right. Just so everybody's aware, Jason most likely will be running the next few meetings. I start my chemotherapy February 15th, and then from there, Lord willing, the creek don't rise. I go to radiation. So they found cancer in my tongue and on my nodules in my lung. So we'll see where that goes, folks. But Jason, in my absence, will run the meetings. Okay?
Tom, we're all pulling for you. We hope that all turns out good for you.
Appreciate that.
Definitely.
Okay.
Good luck, Tom. Wish you well.
Good luck.
How about a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Okay. All right. Thank you all. Take care.
Have a good evening.
God bless.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Good
Best
evening.
of luck, Tom.
Bye, guys.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Good luck, Tom.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.